All right, you guys are live. Have fun.
See you later. Bye.
Just kidding. Oh, happy Thursday, everybody, and welcome to the bait shop. As you saw, we had a popcorn covered gentleman that was holding a monstrous fish. That's our surprise guest, Mr. Doc Lang. And I know the video that everybody is subbed to Get Hooked on D. She gave it away when she posted it, but it's all right. It's her birthday. So, Doc, welcome.
Thank you.
It is finally I'm so glad to finally have you on and for you to finally be a part of a real, talk show. that, I mean, I know you did that practice stuff back in the day on Catfish Weekly, but you finally got a side by side that really matters. I'm just kidding, Dad. Hopefully Lyle's watching. Let's get some call outs real quick. I don't have a phone and I can't see that far, so
You want me to start?
I've got some awesome folks here in the back that are going to be monitoring the chat, and they will give some shout outs.
All right, we got Elizabella Kirkpatrick, James Kirkpatrick, Muskrat Adventures, Brandon Cross, Hooks and Hammocks, Catfish and Crappie. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
A couple crosses fishing. I don't know who that is.
That's my sister.
Yeah, we got Telly from Hooks and Hammocks. We got Get Hooked on D Fishing. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Let's see. Who else we got? Catfish Weekly, Sola, Philip Williams.
Got Freddy's Outdoors, Gene Tillman, Van Taylor. Hey, Van.
And let us know if you guys can hear us all right.
Got Skins and Scales, Paw Ed, and Real Time Catfishing.
Avid Fisherman. J-Dog.
Jado.
Cindy Stokes. Miss Cinnamon Roll herself. Creole Catfishing. See if I can get back down here. Two Stands Fishing. We miss anybody? I don't think
Muskrat.
so. Yep, Muskrat. I think we got everybody,
All right.
Chadwick.
They got everybody for now, hopefully. One, I'd like to tell you guys that, there were several that chipped in on Dee's video for her birthday, and it just made it an amazing experience. It's not often that she cries, other than when she wakes up and has to see she's still married to me. But this was a happy cry instead. So I'm not going to harp on some of the comments that was made, Chris Lee. But again, I do want to thank everybody for that, and I want to thank Doc for his epic part in that and inviting us down. Well, he invited Dee down. I just tagged along, but he invited us all down for her birthday weekend this weekend to hopefully be able to put us on some good fish. Yes, put them on the pigs. So thank you, Mr. Doc. I really appreciate that, man.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
So I met Doc the first time. I know he doesn't remember this because he's a superstar. Unlike that's why he had to step away from the other show, because he was looking for something like what the bait shop has. But I met him at CatCon last year. Never met him in my life. Walked up to him, said hello, and this nice man just sat there and talked to me for like 20 minutes. And he probably forgot about me since then. But thank God I have my sister back here that has put us back in touch. And I'm sitting next to the legend here with his awesome Pepsi can.
Still got Pepsi.
I do have a flag that I saw that he's flying out front that we might have to discuss later on, but we'll see about that.
There will be no discussions about that flag.
No, all Buckeye. Even though I'm in the land of Alabamians, and oh boy,
So
I still fly my Buckeye flag.
That's all right. I mean, I already knew that you lived on the wrong side of the river all that time.
Yeah.
It's okay. You know.
And root for the Cincinnati Reds. Wow,
Oh.
like that.
We've had a few
Go
more people
Cubs.
come in. We've got JP3.
I ain't seen JP3 in a minute. What's going on, JP3?
We got James Allball. Fanfish Nation, Lyle's back as another person. Weekend Angler.
He's got multiple
John's
personalities.
boys.
Go.
Boy Catfishing. Mike Irvin.
Lance, I'm a cool guy.
Mm-hmm. Hawaiian Fisherman.
Good way to say it.
Bottom Feeders hooked up. Mr. Tully.
You just say Mr. Tully?
Tully.
Tully.
Oh, Mr. Tully. I thought you were
Yeah,
talking about
yeah.
Chris.
Dale Hayslip.
I see Maurice Kaysen. I know that
Yeah.
icon.
Mo Creed. I think that catches us up.
All right.
Mo, I'm holding you to that hug in Mendota.
So, Mr. Doc, how you been doing, buddy?
Very good. I just got back from Gatlinburg, Tennessee, just a few hours before you guys arrived.
Really?
Spent a week with my daughter down there,
That's
my
awesome.
grandkids. So had a good time. It rained every day that I was there, and I left today, and it wasn't raining.
Well, that just forced you all to stay in and have fun together.
Yeah, and I did. We were in a big house and had a game room, and Grandpa stayed in the game room and put a hurting on the grandkids. So,
But also, Grandpa still has skills on the game on
oh
the game
yeah,
floor.
yeah, still got skills, especially when it comes to playing the flippers with the flippers.
Of the
Pinball.
pinball. Yeah.
machine. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I still got that. So.
Well, you know, honestly, most of these kids, unless they just saw, they wouldn't even know what a pinball machine
Yeah.
is anymore.
Well, and I had trouble following it because I'm not used to the ball flying as fast as, because it's digital. It's not a steel ball like I had back when I was a kid.
I didn't even know they made them like that.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, this thing, man, it had like 480 some different themes that you could play on. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
That is pretty
Yeah, pretty cool. So, I had a Mario Kart simulator in there, and my grandson Drew, he was on that thing the whole time, that along with my granddaughter. So had a good time.
Good.
Hate to leave today, but I wanted to get back to Alabama. Time to go fishing.
Absolutely.
Vacation's over, time to go back to work.
Yep.
That's right.
Right. Time to hit the office, huh?
Yep.
Now you did say you do have a tournament coming up this weekend, right?
Yeah, we're fishing Wilson Lake. Tennessee River Catfish Club's coming in town this weekend. So Wilson Lake, my fishing partner Chris Fuller and I, Wilson is we love that lake more so than Wheeler.
Really?
A lot of structure on Wilson, a lot of big tall trees, 30, 40 foot tall trees in Wilson. I learned a lot from him how to fish those type of trees. I never knew how to fish those type of trees. So he's very, very good at doing it. So
That would be very different for me because
yeah,
you know where I fish at down here on the Ohio River,
Yeah.
that same area that you used to run for many years, and
right.
we don't have that kind of real.
No, not that
structure
tall structure.
Yeah.
I'm used to it laid over,
Yeah.
and I'm fishing on I can pinpoint it and come back and then throw my baits into it. Well, this is a little bit different. We actually suspend the boat over top and drop the baits right down into the trees itself. So you got the trees on Wilson are just, they got limbs hanging off them. They're standing straight up in the air and their limbs are hanging off of them, and the fish get right down in those. So you got a 50-50 shot at getting them out. And so far, I still haven't been able to get the big ones that I've hooked into. So,
Well, I got a feeling I'm going to be losing a lot of the things. Good thing I restocked.
you're going to lose a lot of tackle down here.
I restocked my ammo box
Yeah.
before we came down. So
Now, the good part about it is we got a lot of current. So with a lot of current, now you can go back to the old basics where you drop the anchor and you can throw back towards the trees.
okay,
You don't want to the baits to land in the trees. You want to land short of the trees. But any place there's like a crossing or something like that, a road bed, that type of stuff, they're going to use that as a highway. So, and with that much current, the scent is really going to trail down. So,
Now, if I remember right, there was some flooded buildings and things in Wilson, right?
yes, yeah,
Really?
there's whole houses,
Yeah.
a lot of foundations down in Wilson. I found there's a locomotive, a whole locomotive on Wilson Lake. There's only a few of us that know where it's at. So I kind of keep tight-lipped on that.
I don't blame you on that one.
Yeah. So I've caught several good fish off of that
Now-
locomotive.
Now, how do more people not know about that? I mean, how do you miss a train under the water?
Well, it's pretty much the locomotive is silted over real bad.
Okay.
So the only reason I found it is I've got some of the old maps from way back, and I started looking at the train tracks. I just started, when I'm on the water every day, I can just get out there. I don't have to fish. I can just get out there and just start looking. And I just spent time on the water just looking for stuff.
Nice.
So
So you've been here about a year and a half, right?
year and a half, yeah.
So what would you say is the major difference of fishing here versus the Ohio?
You got more structure here. And I'm not, I've always been a river fisherman, but during the summertime, this river here, the Tennessee River, flows through Wheeler and Wilson Lakes and into Pickwick, and they all become, very, they're a lake. So, and I'm not used to fishing that type. I've adapted real well only because I've gotten on the water, and, I meet a lot of the old timers, and they'll tell me, hey, you ought to be trying this spot out here. And, lo and behold, you go out there, they know where the stuff's at. And it's like a lot of these guys ran trot lines back there, and I still pick up a lot of trot lines when I'm dragging.
Yeah.
Yeah, too many more than I'd like to get a hold of.
I picked up one last year.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of?
We got a couple more people coming in. I'm gonna say hi to two old vets. Outdoors with Big Mike. Ace catfishing. Sean T. Thank you. 29. Correct number. Good job. David Hamilton and Pontoon Jody.
I did see Art up there earlier.
Oh, yep, and Art.
See Mr. Kim Burnett.
One tonners for life.
I'm trying to see it from here. My
Yeah, it's,
Do everything.
I'm glad you can see it. I can't
And
see it.
Ernie Brown.
see a
A
little bit.
question popped up, but it's not for Doc. It says, Brandon, how many stop signs did you blast through on the way down? It was none
So
this
many
time.
hiding.
None. So the funny story about that is when we were in Mendota, there was this one stop sign that Brandon ran every single time that he came up to it.
Did every day.
Every day.
Doc, you ever fished up there in Mendota?
Mm-mm. I'd like to go up there.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good haul from here.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty good hole.
It is a lot of fun though.
Oh.
I love fishing for channel cats. I mean, when I lived in Ohio, I love fishing Rocky Fork. I love fishing Hoover. Caught a lot of channel cats out of both of them. My best channel cat came out of Rocky Fork. It was 22 pounds.
Wow.
So caught it right in November when it was really cold. They had jackets on and all that. So
Yeah. The only I fished Rocky twice, and other than it, maybe what a couple pounds, as big as ones we've caught up there so far. I mean, like I said, I've only fished it twice. Now I've done good on other lakes up there, like Houston Woods, and
Yeah.
couple okay ones out of Paint Creek. Nothing to brag about, but
I caught my big crappie out of Anchor.
You did.
yeah, you did. And we're going to be doing that here in about a month. We'll be back up there, hopefully doing that.
Almost crappie time.
But yeah, something about those There's ones up at Mendota that was pretty cool. I know these guys back here. I got one. It was 21 pounds. But the crossboat seemed to have like 10 of them.
The
I
mag-
got there
had the
first
magnet.
day, and I had that 27-pounder, and I was like, that's it. Brandon's not gonna beat me. Next day, 29. I'm like, really? you just had to outnumber me by 2 pounds, man. And they came out of 1 and 2 foot of water.
And that's that's what's fun about it up there is you're fighting them
Right.
and they're
Yeah, so as soon as they
tail
move,
walks and
Oh,
yeah,
everything
as
else
soon as
off
they
the
move
water.
on bait, you know they're there.
Oh,
Yeah.
See the swirl.
Yeah. Mine swam to the boat, and I thought maybe the boat was moving because it was windy. So I reeled in a little bit, and it come back in. And I was like, no, there's a fish on there. So I reeled in real slow, and once I finally got it to where I could reel down, I reeled down, and boy, did he take off and fight. Yeah.
Well, we were on a creek for the Ohio, and yeah, we had a channel cat bring the planer board up in front of the boat.
Yeah, Doc knows that creek that where we got that.
That's one creek.
Yeah.
I got yelled at the next day, Doc, for fishing that creek by our buddy Mr. Blauvelt.
Oh, Mark.
And
Yeah.
you know, well, I thought Mark was not fishing the tournament the next day. I didn't even know if I was going to. I thought he was going down to fish this other tournament, and we went out fun fishing. And I might have had about a 13 fish day in that creek and caught a 40 and a 30, or no, 40 and a 25.
Yeah.
And the next day I pull into the Tanner's Creek lake, and all of a sudden Mark's there, and I'm like, because I knew where he was going. It was spring. It was springtime.
Yeah,
Oh, I thought
we won a few tournaments together out at Creek.
yeah, I thought
Yeah.
I was getting ready to get bent over somebody's knee. He was, I think he might have disowned me after that day.
Yeah, that was a pretty awesome day that we had on that water that day because we caught so many fish. We had them in the live well, and he said we need to start counting these things. So he's sitting there on the deck of the boat counting, and I look over, and his rod on the outside just gets doubled down, and he moves his head up. And as soon as he moved his head up, my hand caught the top of his head, and I just shoved it down and went right over top of him, grabbed his rod. I said, "This is a good fish. You want it?" He goes, "No, I'll just go ahead and keep counting here." And it was a good fish.
I know that
Big old
story.
blue.
He told me that one about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we still laugh about that. That was a lot of fun.
but yeah. Hopefully one of these days he'll start talking to me again. I haven't heard from him since. All I ever see him now he won't talk to me. I haven't been able to get him on my show. We're going to go out and make some videos too, but he keeps going over to my buddy Muskrat there and doing shows on his. I mean, I think he's trying to tell me
Yeah.
something, but
Roger
how
and
it
Zach
is.
were down here last week or 2 weeks ago. I
Yeah.
didn't get a hook up with them. I was a little too busy and didn't get a chance to hook up with them. But
Yeah. I seen that they went over to Memphis, and I seen the hog that Zach caught out of Memphis.
yeah, that was a nice fish. And then they ended up over here on Wilson, and the bite wasn't the greatest, but I mean they caught quite a few fish, but nothing of super big size.
Yeah.
Right now, the water temperature 2 weeks ago was 92 degrees
Really?
on all these lakes, and now it's. My partner told me it was 82 yesterday, so it's cooled way down. And generally, when it cools down like that, that triggers a big fish bite. And mix it with current.
We've had a big change here. Hurricane
Yeah.
Ida.
Yeah,
hit.
came through, and
Yeah, so we got lots of water.
yeah, there's a lot of water out there.
So let's talk about that, Doc. How do you fish that different?
Generally on the high water, I like to, if I can find creeks that are flowing real heavy, the big fish can't stay in that heavy current. They just can't handle it. The big fish are going to follow wherever the bait goes. So a lot of times I'll go up into the creeks and work the mouths of creeks, that kind of stuff. Work rock bluffs. We see a lot of rock bluffs down here on the Tennessee River. And the kind of cool part, you know, I spend so much time on the water, you see things that happen. And what a lot of people don't realize is that rushing water is actually going by and it's hitting that rock. And when it hits that rock, it just reverses it and it makes it go the other way. So it just slows it way down. And, you know, it doesn't create an eddy, but it's enough that the bait fish can come in there and they can sit down and rest. And then the big fish will come right in behind and gobble them up. That's what I would do. So, yeah. But yeah, it's,
I am going to look, well, I don't know.
you know, I have my good days and I have my bad days down here. I have more good days than I do bad days, but generally when I have a bad day, it's bad. I just can't seem to put a fish in the boat. So,
I think that's fishing though.
but you know, yeah, I mean, you know, we all try to do the best. Oh, there went the phone. I said, thank you. You're welcome, sir. You know, I've been doing this a long time and I've probably had more bad days than I have good until I moved to Alabama. And it was like, wow, it's, you know, I fell in love with this place 20 years ago. Lynn and I spent a lot of time on these waters down here. And, you know, so I'm really happy to be down here. I love this place. You know, it's hot in the summertime, but in the wintertime, it's warm.
Yeah.
It's not like Ohio, you know. I had a jacket on. Sometimes it gets cool enough where I got to put coveralls on, but winter fishing down here is just unreal. The big fish just really put on the feed bag down here. So, you know, I get a little disappointed if I'm not catching 50s and 60s when I go out, but you know, you get spoiled after you've been down here for a while. You know, in the Ohio, I was satisfied to catch 30s and 40s. I was having a great day, but down here, you know, and I'm like a lot of people. I'm looking, you know, hopefully I live long enough that I can put that triple digit. You know, I'm coming close. I got an 85, so I wasn't very far off. So
That's
yeah, that was a big fish, and I caught that fish when the current was ripping, just absolutely ripping. So yeah, it was.
well, we've already heard about the fight that when you guys were down here and Roger was down here.
Yeah,
I mean, you guys were just saying I'm going to do everything that Doc does.
yeah,
You know, just so I won't be zigzagging just because
Yeah.
Doc's zigzagging. I'm going to check on Doc to make sure that everything's okay before I zigzag now,
That
because
was quite comical.
I've heard the story of following Doc, and because his boat was going this way,
in and out.
in and out.
I had hooked up a 76-pound blue, and I didn't know it was that big at the time. But you know, he took me out of the channel up into the flats, and then back into the channel, and across the channel, and then back up into the flats. And I couldn't do anything with him. You know, I thought it was a lot bigger fish, but you know, he was kind of hooked up in the roof of the mouth, so there was no, you know, I couldn't wear him out. And he just drugged my boat all over everywhere. Well, Brandon and Betty were in front of me, and they kept looking back. And here I'm, you know, I'm just doing this weave thing, and then Roger and Zach were behind me, and I look back at them, and I see them trying to follow the same path that I'm doing. So,
But go for it, Doc.
yeah,
That's how the bait shop goes.
yeah. So it was quite comical. Finally, Betty and Brandon pulled up, and you know, what's going on? I said, man, I need help. I got this big fish, and I can't get him in the boat. So that was really something.
I'm giving them grief that when you're trying to learn from the master, I can't say that I probably wouldn't have really done the same thing.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah, because everybody was just shadowing me. You know, I went down there, and we were all kind of, and then we kind of broke off. Well, and I knew where this one spot was, and I just decided, well, I'll go through there. And I looked on the side scan, and I seen this big fish right there, and I'm like, oh my goodness, maybe. And you know, next thing, board went down. He was gone. He was history.
There's a pretty funny comment here in chat.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna read it to you. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's get ahead and hear it.
Love you, Mark.
It says Dee can catch a pig, Betty can catch a pig, Brandon can catch a pig, but Chad, he is not allowed. Make him your Joey the whole time, Dee.
I really thought he was going to go with I was the pig.
Oh. Nope, you're gonna be the Joey. Oh.
We
All
are,
you're gonna catch is a hard time and a sunburn.
And Roger said we thought Doc lost his mind zigzagging all over the place.
I could see Roger and Zach back there going right there. He's like, man, look at this, it's amazing new technique that he's got. This is going to transform the catfishing industry. I mean,
Zigzag all the way up there. I kept looking back and I kept on there. I said, he must be having trouble with his saw motor. There's something wrong because he's all over the place. But he was far enough away I couldn't see his rod, so I didn't know what was going on.
And
But
I
I
was
could,
sitting on the front of the boat.
yeah, and I could see the boat going everywhere, and I thought your tool motor was messing up. But yeah, that was a pretty funny story. Good memory we'll always have.
And Brian B came in.
oh God.
Oh, whatever.
Uncle Josh is here, and Haswai.
Now see, Brian B is lucky that Creole and Ida had a talk, and Ida came through, and Creole had to, stir the pot like he always does, and him and Lyle had to have their own separate day because they're the superstars of this show, of the 1v1. And I was actually thinking we would be in Alabama for round 2, and I wasn't saying a word about it. And I was
You
letting
go by yourself, because I'm not going out in Alabama not catching fish.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just Brian B. I mean,
Yeah.
oh wait, he's on the Potomac.
He's already beat us on.
Yeah, he beats everybody though.
Except for Haz, apparently.
Yeah, I have heard that Haz is about to lay the smackdown on him here on Tuesday, but that's just rumor, Brian B. I mean, that's just what rumor has it. But there was also rumor that the James River was going to beat the Ohio River last weekend, and J Dog went and put the smackdown on my brother Stan. Not, I mean, just because Stan can't put his rules together, right? But that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Stan had my kind of luck that weekend, so.
All right, so this is the bait shop.
This is the bait shop.
So let's talk about bait shop.
Number one bait down here is skipjack. Moon eye and shad are probably close second. We don't have any moon eye down here. At least I haven't been able to find them down here. I've been hunting for them. I haven't found them. We got some big gizzard shad. Most of the guys down here don't use gizzard shad. But I like using gizzard shad, especially in the springtime, because they're spawning, they're heading up towards the dam. And, it's just, a shad is not near as fast as a skipjack.
Yeah.
So, the big blues, they can run those shad down where they're not even a touch of skipjack.
Now, why do you think it is that they don't use shad as much down here? I mean, I know that the skipjack is.
Skipjack is plentiful, easy to catch. You got to work a lot harder to catch a shad versus a skipjack.
Really?
Yeah. So skipjack, you're just throwing jigs out there with Foley spoons on them, and they're smacking them right now. So,
Skipjack is so much fun to catch. I love it.
Yeah.
I have as much fun doing that down here as I do with catching.
yeah, it never gets old.
No. Oh my gosh.
A lot of times I just hate to pull off of them. Even though I'm going, go after catfish. I still love to catch skipjack.
Yeah. You know how it is on the Ohio.
Yeah.
You get lucky if the
Oh,
melt
man.
all
I
day
know, I did.
if they're running, right? But
Yeah, I thought, years ago, if I got a dozen at Meldo, I was
Yeah.
ecstatic about it. Down here, like right now, within 15, 20 minutes, we probably can catch 30, 35. Most of them are mongos. Most of them are 18, 20 inches long right now. They're big. They're big, yeah. You get a couple of them
13
on there.
inches.
No, you get a couple of them big ones on there, you got to fight on your.
All right. Show's over. We got to go.
Well, I thought when I was down here, I caught a big one. I can't remember how long it was, but for some reason, 21 sticks in my head. I think it was a 20 or 21-inch skipjack. It was absolutely humongous. And the funny thing is when I hooked into that skipjack, regular dude was there.
John
John.
Knowles.
John Knowles. Yeah.
J-Mo, yeah.
So he's the bait man, up there. So he was right there when I hooked into that thing. Well, when we cut that up to fish with it, that thing bled for hours. It was crazy how long that skipjack bled. It was nuts.
I'm ready to go. I
Yeah,
mean,
they'll be running pretty good in the morning. As soon as daylight comes around, usually it's daylight here at 5 a.m. in the morning, and uh, they'll run most of the morning. Right now, we're seeing a lot of. You got to kind of work through the white bass. The white bass and stripers come up. The way it kind of starts is right at 5 a.m. You just see the white bass and the stripers come up, start pushing the shad to the surface. So they were sitting there rolling on them, and everybody just kind of sits out there and waits, unless it's somebody that's out of town doesn't know how it does it, and they're sitting there throwing, they're getting 4 or 5 of the white bass and stripers stuck on the line, and then the skipjack move in right behind them, or they'll be mixed in with them. Like last week when I was trying to catch bait, I was catching 3 white bass to 1 skipjack. So and a lot of the white bass stripers are a big game fish down here. So there's a lot of people who go out there and fish for them. Not enough, because I'm trying to catch skipjacks, and I don't want to be catching the white bass. We can't use them for bait because they're a game fish.
Oh, really?
Here in Alabama, we're not allowed to use them.
That's just a
Yeah.
ditch pickle for no reason.
Yep. Creole has a question for Doc. Says, do you use the gut pockets on your skipjack or cut them out?
Generally, I cut my gut pockets out. The only reason I do that is usually they're full of minnows, and I just don't want that pocket in there, full of those minnows. So, I use whole skipjacks. So if I got an 18 or 20-inch skipjack, I'll take out that gut pocket, and then I put that whole thing on out there. Cut them off right at the tail, because the spine holds so much blood. It's unreal. I don't know if a lot of people noticed when we pack these skipjacks, we always put them on their backs, so that we pack them in a cooler and we put them on their backs so that their bellies are up, and you just let gravity pull the blood right out of the cavity, right down into the body, and they'll last a whole lot longer. They'll bleed a whole lot more if you do that way. All the bait guys do that down here. That's how we do it. That's going to be Doc's tip for the day. Take your skipjack and put your bait on its back. Once you get it, as you're out there catching them, you can throw them in there and get them covered up in ice real quick, because you got to get that body temperature down. There's my owl. He's out here someplace. I just heard him.
right over there. It sounds like.
Who?
SK's in the house now too.
What's up, SK?
Larry Oliver. Did we get Parker? Hi, Parker. I hope you're feeling better.
Parker Pursuit?
Yeah.
Hey, buddy. I hope
He
you're
told me
feeling
that
better.
him and his family are doing better.
Good. Good to hear.
David Hamilton. Palmetto Cat. Trying to get
Uncle
everybody.
Josh?
Yeah.
Uncle Josh?
Earlier. I went back as far as I can go, and I think
All
I
right.
said everybody.
But if we missed anybody, hi everybody, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Jeremy
And-
Colvin Fishing.
Oh yeah, hey Jeremy.
Jeremy just popped in.
And thank you for all the birthday wishes in chat. I appreciate it.
39.
29.
49?
29.
At least it's better than the other day when they were saying, we're trying to say I was 59.
Now, why would you believe anything? Look, I mean, look at these. They're all scandalous. Why would you believe in half these people? I mean, a lot of them have been on the bait shop. They've
We
proven
know what
themselves.
trouble they are.
They've proven themselves to be trouble. So what else we got? Anything else that's on the good and chat?
Let's see. I see somebody show up. Fishing and Freedom showed up.
Going on Fishing and Freedom?
And Roger says, watch out for your truck. Buzzards tore Zach's truck up. Use bags or tarps or something.
Oh, buzzards, yeah.
Yeah.
They're bad down here, huh?
Yeah. They ripped the rubbers right off of the windshield wipers. They got the back of my truck. They tore it all off, and you got to put like a white bag or something on your antenna. Some people tie them to their windshield wipers. Yeah,
Really?
they're bad. They've been real bad this year. Didn't see much of it last year, but this year they've been. I don't know why they grouped up and they're just sitting there. I've got pictures right here on my phone of people that I know. I've called them and I said, "Hey, man," I said, "the buzzards are carrying away your rig," and the guys will come back in and shoo them off. We've shooed them off. One of the guys said he was going to start putting rat traps on top of the truck.
That's a good idea.
I said, "Ooh, I kind of like that." They're protected, so you can't do anything bad to them. So
Yeah.
Start shooting them at the home.
Are they getting away?
Yeah. Matt was telling me the
I
other day.
knew we were talking about it.
yeah, they're real bad down here. So,
Killing cattle.
oh wow.
Really? Yeah. Yeah, I think they need to
That's Brandon. I know y'all can't see him, but he's right
Yeah.
over here.
Brandon's a little camera shy, but he likes to hide behind the big fellas here. So.
Yeah.
I have to read Parker's comment.
All right, go ahead.
It's a good one. Can't believe Chad feels the need to go to yet another state where Dee is going to spank him again.
I hope she does. It's her birthday.
You know,
Your fingers to God's ear.
I would want for just one time for you guys to realize how great of a husband that Dee has. Not only take her on some great fishing adventures this year, but to let her have so many opportunities to catch those fish.
Well, look, I've been on a lot of those fishing adventures with you, and you didn't let her have none of them.
Sometimes I wish the peanut gallery would even come. Brandon, keep your woman in line.
Oh, Dan Thompson popped in.
Hey,
Hi,
Dan.
I just have a couple questions. Let me find them. Let's see. Two Sands Fishing said, "What would Doc say is the most important thing that your average cat fisherman today should focus on to improve to the next level?" That's a good question.
Don't make rules you can't.
Time on the water.
Yeah.
That's how you learn everything that's going on. You get time on the water, and everything always changes. So the rain, the wind. But the more time you spend on the water, the better you're going to get at it.
Right.
So,
I know, we were just laughing about that.
What?
It says bedtime for Chad, JP3 said, with the syringes.
yeah.
But here's something of this lady, Dee Fields. I assume somebody's on my other account. Hi, Lisa, baby.
Hi, sweetheart.
I said hi, Mom and Pop.
Hi, baby. Yeah, our daughter had to stay home with grandma. And thank you to grandma if grandma's watching as well to get her education while we're away. But we do miss her very much. But again, thank you, Doc, for letting us come down and spend a few days and hopefully get Dee on a nice 20-30 pounder and me on about a 70 or 80. And
Come on, you couldn't even give me a number that's higher than my BB now.
okay, but we got to get her at least a 41. All right.
She had to get knocked in the water tomorrow.
Oh.
I love you too. Oh, but yeah, let's see. We got about 20 minutes left, but
What else you want to talk
yeah,
about, dog?
yeah. What else you want to talk about, Doc? I mean, we can sit here for 20 minutes. We haven't not hardly even knocked on Lyle yet.
Yeah. Well, right now, since I moved down here, I do a lot of dragging. But this weekend, it's going to be tough to drag. The dam's running 110,000 cubic feet per second. That's rolling some water off of it. So, it may be an anchor bite. It could be suspending bait bite. The other thing you can do is you can walk baits when it's just like you're on the Mississippi. You can walk in baits right behind the boat. It's very effective down here. Very effective, especially when there's current. I like walking baits. I like fishing on the Mississippi River. But most of the time since I've been here, I haven't seen that much current. But usually when there's that much current, I'll get out there with a single rod in my hand and just start walking baits.
Yeah. Now, is there any way to kind of get an idea of what that means current wise, other than like if you didn't know your home water, right? So if a typical day, if you lived down here and a typical day was 50,000, and you knew if they more than doubled it, it's going to be cranking, right?
Yeah.
But for somebody like me, I'm coming down here once or twice or whatever like that, I would have a clue what that meant for down here, right?
Right. Right. Yeah. It's just, I mean, sometimes they want to see that bait going by them or coming to them. Sometimes they want to see it planted where it's just fixed. Where you got 6 to 8 ounces of weight down and you got it locked in, and they'll move up on the bait and grab it. But sometimes they want to see it as it's going by.
Okay.
A lot of the guys are striper fishing and stuff like that. That's all they do. They'll walk baits. They'll just work them jigs up and down as the boat's constantly moving back. So it allows you to cover a lot more water, and then a lot of times you'll find a seam and they'll be just stacked up in there. And, then you can, drop an anchor, drop steel, or do like most of us do. They just drop trolling motor and hit the anchor lock. And, that feature on the trolling motor is one of the best things that they ever come up with. I'm an old school fisherman. We always drop steel almost all the time, but ever since they come up with the anchor lock, you can, if you aren't anchored where you want to be, all you got to do is just push a button and move over to where, and you can get more precise, especially if you got a good set of electronics. You nudge the boat right on back and just literally drop the baits right down in front of their faces.
Yeah.
And if your electronics are set up, you can watch the baits. I've watched fish come right up on them, and I've watched them come up, and you'll see the line jiggle a little bit, and you're just sitting there waiting to watch them go right back down. So that is aggravating when they do that.
Yeah. Like look at it and leave. Yeah. Yeah. I've seen it. Even like you're talking about, even drag and see them, they'll come up.
Yeah.
And just come back down.
And that's the other thing, especially if you're suspending baits like that. I've seen that a lot down here, where you'll have the rod out there and the rod will just sit there and do one of these numbers, and I'm trying to figure out what are they doing. And you watch them on the screen. And a good friend of mine, Scott Manning, said that he dropped the camera, and all that fish was doing was rubbing. He was rubbing up against the bait and stuff like that. So catfish, their whole body is nothing but a sensory organ. It's like a tongue. So that's how he said that's what they were doing. I never realized they were doing it, but it does drive you crazy when you watch a fish come up and you're sitting there watching. Okay, wait, which rod? And then it starts to go down, and then it just sits there and does one of these numbers. And then we've seen it where you'll watch a fish come up and it's buried, and it's gone. So.
Question in chat. Two old vets said, "What's Doc's favorite cat to target?"
Down here it's flatheads. I love chasing flatheads. I chased them on the Ohio my whole life. I like chasing the blues, but the flatheads down here are totally different than on the Ohio. A blue picks up a bait on the Ohio, and he takes off like an F-16. They do the same thing here. Flatheads, the flatheads here in Alabama pick up a bait and take off like a jet. I mean, they do not move off slow. You do not see any of that. It's just rip the line down and they are gone.
Really?
Yeah. So
So it's not that.
no,
Yeah,
you don't
slow
see any
down
of that. No, it just, I lost one of the biggest fish in a tournament that literally made me sick. I thought I was going to be sick. Early in the morning and picked the rod up and I couldn't do anything with that fish. And then he come unbuttoned. And, later in the day, I ended up catching a 58-pound flathead and it hit just like the other one, other than I got him to the boat. So, but, my best flathead on the Ohio was 50 pounds, and I've caught since I moved to Alabama, I've caught 21 flatheads over 50 pounds. So a bunch.
I could get a new flathead.
Or
Or
and
just even catch another
and-
flathead.
my favorite area to go is Gunnersville. Gunnersville Lake is it's just awesome up there. Which the guides are all up in there, and it's pretty novel. Everybody knows it. So
Yeah.
March, April, and May, that's the time. So, and we catch them dragging. We also catch them anchored up. If you got good current, you can you find them around trees and stuff like that, and you just anchor up on them, wait on them. But you'll also have that mix of, the one day that, I caught 50 pound, Chris and I were pre-fishing. I caught a 50 pound blue, and then I caught another like a 62 pound blue, and then Chris ended up catching a 50 pound flathead, and then he caught a 71 pound blue, just back to back, one right after another. So
I ain't gonna sleep tonight.
yeah, it's this is a good fishery. That's for sure. That's I am so glad I moved down here. So I've fished most of my life, and I've spent most of my time on the water. And I just like it down here. I don't have a real big boat. I've got 18 and a half foot center console, but it's perfect for me. I fish mainly by myself, or I fish with my fishing partner, Chris Ford.
Mhm.
And, we're retired. He's retired. I'm retired. So we're on the water. So,
We've done said when we pulled on your street, the first thing we noticed was that for sale sign of my house.
yeah. Yeah. Houses don't last very long down here. A lot of friends of mine, Jerry Iscomer, he bought a place down here. He's still got his place in Texas, but he set up his, business down here. And I was one of his first customers. I had him pour an extension on the back of my garage. And then I've got the garage. I don't have it completely done, but the boat is in the garage. It's no longer under the carport behind us here. It's in the garage. So.
Yeah, I was going to say earlier, you was talking about the whole anchor and the spot lock feature that came around, and you're right. The spot lock is amazing.
It's been a game changer.
I am. Anybody knows me, I don't really care to ever throw an anchor, because I really hate to see me pull that thing back in. I mean, it's just not right. It's just not right.
It's just hard for her to get it in.
It's a little bit difficult for her to pull that up sometimes. So, but no, yeah, I would drift or drag any day that I could. Yeah, but there is some times where you have to it's just there's a time you have to do the anchor, and unfortunately I try to stay home those days. But my arms just aren't what they used to be. Shoulders and starting to become Lyle with the shoulders. That's all I ever hear about him cry about how bad his shoulders are. So
A couple more things in chat.
what we got? What we got?
Well, I have to address JT3's comment. He said, "Are you going to correct Doc and tell him that it's shovel head?" No, I'm not gonna correct
Let
Doc,
me-
but
yeah.
Doc knows that I call them shovelheads.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna correct him on that.
when a legend invites you down,
Yeah,
you don't. One, he's the legend of Doc Lang. You ain't correcting him. You don't
Uh-uh.
correct him. But
Yeah, I can be corrected. There's no problem.
No. whatever
You
you,
know, we
say,
call it,
correct.
well, you know, I call them flatheads, shovelhead, yellow cats,
Yep.
you know, but
Creole
they've always been
puppy.
flatheads my whole life. So,
So I have a question about shovelhead. So you say it doesn't get as cold down here.
Right.
Do you catch them in the winter? Since we never really catch them in the winter up home in Ohio.
yeah, we'll get them, but they have the water temperatures down here. I believe last year it got down, the water temperature was like 42, 43 degrees. That's as cold as it got. And, you know, that they kind of go dormant on that.
Yeah.
But, you know, again, once that temperature gets to that magic, I call it 50 mark, it's like, boy, they're on fire. You know, so
And there's probably in the wintertime that it stays around 50, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Juliet has another question. He said, Doc met Richard Gene the fishing machine. Any plans to hook up with him?
What's that?
Says Doc met Richard Gene the fishing machine. Any plans to hook up with him?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see, right?
Yeah.
I would say hi to Matt, want to be outdoors. Uncle Lou's in the house now.
Hey, Uncle Lou.
We're gonna test those rods.
Matt.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. We got our Uncle Lou's rods with us, so we plan on seeing how much abuse they can take with a big old pig for Dee's birthday.
Setting hooks and crossing eyes. and
Redbeard.
Twisted fishing TV.
So twisted.
I see Kelly.
Well, the weather's supposed to be nice,
Yeah.
so it you should have good. Um, hopefully the boat traffic isn't crazy stupid like it gets down here. There's a lot of boats down here,
I'm sure.
And it's
Yeah.
a holiday.
especially
weekend.
on a holiday
Yeah.
weekend.
It
Yeah.
is a holiday weekend.
We might have to fight that for the weekend, but we have tomorrow and Monday for sure. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
hopefully that'll settle things down, but I don't know. The holiday. We're just gonna crowd right in there and catch them too.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, your other option is you can stay right up by the dam. Below Wheeler Dam, there's a lot of wood. It's all logs that are just all piled up all over everywhere. And a lot of times, you know, you can just drop an anchor and spot lock right on top of those things. You know, in the fall, you know, I'll catch a lot of 40s and 50s off of those. You know, they're coming up towards the dam to feed real heavy. So, you know, I put all my grandkids on 50 pounders last fall. So when they were here.
Freddie's Outdoor Adventures
Hey,
has a
Freddie.
question. He says, Doc, thoughts on floating baits over cover, like with the Patriot float?
I haven't tried that yet. Because we don't see a lot of shallow water up in here. Most of the water that's, you know, Wilson Lake has got 120, 130 foot of water down by the dam. And that's one of my favorite areas to fish is down in there. You know, you're not going to be able to float, you know, a bait right there. But, you know, I don't see a lot of shallow water here, you know, not like I do in Ohio. So,
You hear that, Brian B? If you're still in here, that is one big magical hole right there, 130 feet.
Chris said he's a snack king.
Nobody listens to Chris. Now, yeah, you're talking about the Ohio, and I know we're coming up on the 9 o'clock hour here. Well, back home, shovelhead time. But you know, back home, a deep part of the Ohio for us about 70, 65, 75 feet. You know, I know some places down there like that. So, my go-to is typically to start watching around that 35-foot mark.
35.
Yeah.
And I do that here. I look for 35, 40 foot
Okay.
water. The problem I had here once I moved here was when I found rocks and I saw a fish, I would, hook up on that fish and thinking that it was a blue, and it ended up the flatheads here do not relate to wood like they do on the Ohio.
Yeah.
They relate to rock. So the blues come off of wood here, and the flatheads come off of rock. So it's totally the opposite
That is weird.
of what it on the Ohio. So, but yeah, I've caught a lot of flats off of rock. So, which on a normal basis on the Ohio, you would never do that. So it's still hard for me to get used to doing it. I'll mark a good fish, and I'll look at it, and a lot of times the flathead will be usually stuck straight down, where the blue will be suspended, and I'm trying to figure out why is that blue suspended over that rock, and it's not a blue
Yeah.
flathead.
Nice little surprise, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, but again, it's like you just said earlier, is it's that time on the water and learning that kind of stuff. And it's,
Yeah.
You spent how many years fishing the Ohio and the Mississippi and
Probably
stuff like that.
Close to 30, 35 years. I've been fishing for about 55 years. So mainly on the rivers and stuff like that. So
And I know you did say you fished out here, for
Yeah.
4 years too.
Yeah.
But
Lynn and I spent a lot of time down here. That's what we had planned on doing, was coming down here, and when we both retired, and so God had another plans for us. So. But I ended up down here. So
yeah, and you've got you have got a beautiful home, and you said you're just a few minutes away from the river. So
from the water, yeah, about 15 minutes from the water. So,
Okay.
and what's nice is I don't even have to take any bait with me. I just go out, I catch fresh bait, and then go fish.
that's nice.
So that's a nice little perk.
We got about 3 minutes left.
All right, what you got?
Anybody want to throw out any questions real quick? We'll try to catch those in the last couple of minutes. I do want to say, Ted Ellenbecker is on Kingfish Nation
Yes.
right after this, so that is going to be awesome. Don't miss it.
What a legendary Thursday night.
Yeah, no kidding. Doc
Got
and then Ted. That's pretty
Doc and
awesome.
then Ted.
Yeah. Well,
Talking about an epic seminar right there.
yeah.
But yeah, definitely make sure you guys go over and check Panfish Nation out here in a minute. So,
I think there's been the links posted a couple times, but can somebody post that again, please?
I'm working on it.
Wow, look at you.
Thank you, birthday girl.
Got to get people over there to see live on Mark. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and get ready to close it out. Doc, thank you so much, one, for inviting us down, and
Yep.
the
Yes,
awesome
thank you.
video that you sent for Dee's little birthday video. That
Yeah.
was, I think I
Yeah,
watched.
because I sent two.
You did. I didn't get to
The
see that
very
one.
first one
Uh-huh.
was a 25-pound blue cat. And so that was the one I sent Betty. And then 10 minutes later, that's when I caught the 51. So we got it. And Chris, we caught a 51 and a 25 right back to back. And I told Chris, I said, we got to redo this. This was even better.
So, I know I watched the one with it. I'm thinking 20, 30 times.
I sent it to you at work,
I know.
and because I wanted to make sure that it wasn't while you were at home with Dee. And I don't know, it took forever to send because I have Hilljack internet, as Mark likes to say. And so
He's not wrong.
I don't know, like a half hour, 45 minutes went by. I was doing something and I messaged him and I said, "Did you get the video?" He said, "Yeah, I've watched it 30 times already." I said, "Don't worry, so am I."
I was sitting, I was giggling like a little schoolgirl, and it wasn't even for me.
I saw him pulling the fish up. I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, if you watch it real close, you'll see my hand get jerked where he's getting mad.
Yeah, we'll have to share the video with you for watching her video.
He's seen it.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
I
already
saw
seen
it.
it?
Yeah, I watched
Oh,
it today.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, it is
Is it time?
time for Panfish
It is
Nation.
time for Panfish Nation, Doc. Again, thanks not only for bringing us down,
Yep.
allowing us to come down here, but
Thanks
for
for
being
letting
on
me
the
on the
show.
show. Appreciate it.
I may go on now and redo the thumbnail and take all that popcorn off.
Oh,
And thanks again for all the birthday wishes, guys. Thanks.
Yeah. So again, guys, thank you guys for stopping by. We always appreciate you. Make sure you please go over and check out Panfish Nation. Ted is just an epic guy to watch and listen to. He's a wealth of knowledge. So,
And that
We-
Mark and Lyle guy are pretty cool too.
well,
Yeah.
it's finally good to see somebody on there that they can just turn the show over to. We don't have to listen to them guys. So I'm just kidding. I love you guys. All right. All right. We'll see you guys next week. We'll see what we can get on this weekend. So you guys take care. Have a good one.